Okay. So if I were to put 1/4 here, table 1, what would I add to 1/4 to make one whole?
3/4.
3/4. Now, how'd you do that so fast?
Because 1 plus 3 is 4.
Because 1 plus 3 is 4. Okay. Does anybody know the trick to doing these types of problems?
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
I think it always has to equal a whole.
It always has to equal a whole. I could think about addition, but I could also think about subtraction. What subtraction problem could I do to get the answer? 4 minus 1 equals 3. So if I do 4 minus 1, I get the number that goes on top. Now, something that might help you as you go through this, it might help to actually write the fraction down if you can't think about it. Okay? So let's do another one, but I want to make it hard. Is that okay? Don't shout it out because I'm going to ask for a table. But let's do this one. Now, you should not be working ahead. You should be watching me here. Okay, so how about table 3? What do you think the answer is to this one? 12/19 plus something equals 1 whole. 7? How'd you get that? Because 7 plus 12 equals 19. Could you do 19 minus 12?
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Okay? So that's how you're going to do these. I'm going to pause it while you do it, and then I'll have you help me answer, okay? Yeah, I paused. Okay. So table 2. What is the answer to the second one? 4/5. Okay, table 4. 2/10 plus
8/10.
Good. Table 5, 1/3 plus. Table 5. Okay. Table 1.
2/5.
2/5. Table 3.
1/2.
Oh. 5/10. Table.
You just said the answer. Wait.
Well, what do I add to 5/10 to get 1 whole? Table 4. 5/10. What? How else can I write that?
1/2.
Okay, good. All right, 6/7. How about table 2?
1/7.
Okay. And table 5. What's the last one? 5/8. Is there another one we can simplify? We already did 8/10. Now I know 8 is not half a 10, because that would be 5.
Divided by 2.
Everybody write this down. Divide by 2.
4/5.
And whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom, right? So 8 divided by 2. And 10 divided by 2. So my answer there is 4/5. Okay, let's look at the next one. Nope. Okay, this application problem is a really good one. In fact, I feel like you're going to have to answer questions like this when you take your assessments in the spring. Okay? So let me read it, and I'm going to save the extension till the end. Leslie has 1 liter of milk in her refrigerator to drink today. She drank 1/2 liter of milk for breakfast and 2/5 liter of milk for dinner. How much of a liter did Leslie drink during breakfast and dinner? So what am I doing here? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Which one? Add. Okay, and what 2 fractions am I adding?
1/2 and 2/5.
Okay, go ahead and write that down. But don't write anything else yet. Now I asked block 1, I said, would you like me to show you how I taught it last year? Or would you like me to skip ahead to lesson 6? And they said, I think it's lesson 6, I don't know. But anyway, they said skip ahead. So I'm going to skip ahead. Are you okay with that? So what we're going to do on this one is we're going to remind ourselves how we did it last week. but we're not going to draw. But I want you to go ahead and put your boxes on there like you would have last week and get your numbers on there like we would have last week. And then I'll show you how this is going to change. So once you get all this written, put your pencil down so I know you're ready. So how did we find the common denominator?
We multiplied the denominator.
Okay, so we don't do 2 plus 5, 2 times 5. So what's the common denominator here? 10. And we also put the 10 down there, right? Okay, you with me? All right. And then you remember how I just copied the 1/2 and the 2/5? Then I think I changed the color of my pen, didn't I? Okay. So then we figured out a little trick. Whatever the denominator was, we just choose the other denominator and multiply the top and the bottom by that.
Yeah, that's what I figured out.
Yeah, so 2, what's the other denominator? 5. So I'll multiply the top and the bottom times 5. And 5, what's the other denominator? 2. And that's going to give me 1 times 5 and 2 times 2. So then I'll write my 5/10 and my 4/10, add them together, and what was my answer?
9.
Okay, put your pencil down. So we're going to write most of this. We're just going to put it in a different order for the lesson today, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is erase a bit of this because we're not going to use it. By the way, that's almost a whole gallon of milk. Did you notice?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to erase. You leave it the same way. So I'm going to keep this much the same. I'm going to change it just a little bit, okay? So I'm going to see if I can get these numbers to move around. So let me see if I can get this to select. Oh, it's going to take the whole thing. Okay, I'm going to have to erase, but that's okay. It won't take me long to rewrite that. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put it on the second row. Now, what did I have? 5/10 equals 9/10, okay? And then I'm going to take this. Maybe it'll let me select that. Oh, good. I'll move it up here. And I'm going to take this. Hopefully it'll let me. Ooh, I'm going to move it up there. How am I doing? Okay, and then only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add those two together. But so that it looks neater and nicer, I'm going to put parentheses around it. And then my last equal sign, I'm going to rewrite the answer just in case I have to simplify it. Okay, so this is the new and improved format. And I really think it might be lesson 8 that I'm skipping to. You guys okay with that? We'll still do the other lessons. We're just not going to draw. Okay, so let's see how this looks. Oh, we're not done with the problem. We have to do the extension.
Yay.
So how much of a liter of milk does she have left to drink?
1/10.
1/10. How would I write that as a decimal?
0.1.
1/10 or 1/10. So that was the answer to the extension. 9/10 is what she drank.
That's a lot of milk.
I wonder if well, it wasn't a gallon, it was just a liter. So half of a 2-liter bottle. But I wonder if she drank half of it with her cereal for breakfast, maybe.
What would you do?
Because that's what we used to do in the old days, because milk is good for you. Yeah, good for your bones. Okay, so go ahead and look at problem 1. It's actually 2 problems. So do you care if I just talk about pizza for a minute, or is that going to upset you since it's so close to lunch?
I really don't like pizza.
Oh, you don't? So it's not bothering you, okay?
Yeah.
We're not drawing anything. I'm just drawing a couple pizzas so we can get an estimate here, okay? So pencils down. I'm going to go back to red. If I have 1/3 of a pizza shaded And I'm going to color it all in this time so we can see that we have 1/3 of the pizza left, okay? And then 1/4 of a pizza. If I were, you know how, like when you have leftovers and you just go get a to-go box and you put both of the pizzas in the same to-go box, and sometimes you could just make a whole pizza out of what you have left over. Would this make a whole pizza if I put it in the same box? No, it wouldn't. So my estimate here is I think it's going to be less than 1 whole when we add these together. Do you agree with me? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to get rid of this. And to solve this problem, we're going to need 3 sets of equal signs. And someone in block 1 said, they're back. We have 3 equal signs now.
I remember.
Okay, now remember, I'm going to go backwards a bit. So right here on this second row is where I'm going to put my blanks. Let me scroll down. So this is going to be something plus something equals something. You got it? Yeah. And this is where I will write my common denominator. Did you write this? Okay. So 3 times 4 is what?
12.
So my common denominator this time is 12. I'm going to go back a page. Remember how I took those 2 little equations and put parentheses around them and added them together? Okay, that's what I'm going to do now. So on the first line, this is how I get it set up. And it works really well to write it like this. So just do that for now. 2 sets of parentheses with a long line in them so we can write a little multiplication problem. And then do you remember how I copied this 1/3 and I put it in the first problem? Okay. So 1/3 and then 1/4. Okay. Now I'm going to change the color of my pen. Table 2. What do I multiply to 1/3? And I'm just looking at the 3. 4. And whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top, okay? So 1 times 4 equals what?
4.
And I'm going to write it underneath instead of beside. See how I wrote the 4 here? Okay? And table 3, what do I multiply to 1/4? Remember, I'm just looking at the 4. What's the other denominator? 3. And what's 1 times 3? So that gives me 7/12, and that's my answer. And I don't need to simplify it, so I'm done. Okay? This is the same thing we did last week. It's just written differently. How you doing? Okay, now I don't have much room to write over here, but I'm going to do my best. What about this one? What if we took those 2 pizzas that we just drew, I just drew, and we had 1/2 left, and then we had 3/4 left. Could we fit that all in one box?
No.
No. Otherwise, well, I mean, we could, but we'd have to stack some pizza on top.
Yeah.
And that's disgusting. Right?
Yeah.
Especially if one of them is something you don't like.
Yeah.
It sticks to the other one. Okay? So on this one, we're gonna estimate it's more than 1 whole. You agree? Okay. So now, what did I need here?
3
3 equal signs. They're back. And I'm going to set it up. So I want you to set it up like I am. And we're going to talk about what goes where. Okay, so my common denominator here,
Is it?
table 5, what do you think it is? 8? How'd you get 8? 4 times 2. Okay. And remember how I'm just going to copy those two fractions? Okay, I got that much done. Table 4. You ready?
Yeah.
What do I multiply 1/2 times?
4.
4. Table 1. What do I multiply 3/4 times?
2.
2. So look where I'm pointing. 1 times 4 equals 4. 3 times 2 equals, and so I've got 10/8. Now that fraction means more than one whole. Do you remember what it's called?
Improper.
Improper fraction. It's an improper fraction, but it's also, it's a mixed number, okay? So we're going to write it as a mixed number. When I do that, I'm just going to rewrite it here and do the whole number bond thing. And then we'll talk about the trick. So if I take out one whole, what is it? 8/8. And what's 10 minus 8?
2/8.
So I've got 8/8 plus 2/8. How do I write that? 1 and 2/8. Now, actually, 2/8 can be simplified.
1/4.
Oh, you think it's 1/4? He's right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to rewrite this as 1 and 1/4 and circle that. Okay? How are we doing?
Good.
I think that's the only one today we're going to have to simplify. And before long, like maybe when we get to lesson 8, I'll teach you a way to get a common denominator so you don't have to simplify. Would you like to know that?
Yes.
Okay, but not yet. Not too many new things at once. So, problem 2, problem 3, but I don't think yours is on the same page, is it?
No, it's just problem.
Okay, so ignore my problem 3 for right now. Now, I want you to visualize in your head 4/5, which is almost one whole, right? And 1/2 added together. You think it's more or less than one whole?
More.
More. Okay, so 3 equal signs. And then get it set up. Okay, so what table hasn't gone for a while? Table 1. What's my common denominator for 5 and 2? 10. How'd you get that?
5 times 2.
5 times 2. You multiplied them together. Okay. All right, table 5. What do I multiply 4/5 times? 2. And table 3. What do I multiply 1/2 times?
5.
So 4 times 2 and 1 times 5. So I'm going to rewrite this. And then I'm going to do that number bond thing. You know what I mean by number bond thing, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to draw the circles. Undo, undo, undo. So one whole would be what?
10.
So what's 13 minus 10?
30.
So that means 1 whole and 3/10. Are you making your whole number about the same height as your fraction? Remember I told you that last week? Okay, so do you think you're ready to try most of one on your own if I help you get it set up?
Yeah.
Okay, go to the next problem. Okay, visualize this. 2/3, so 2 out of 3 shaded, and 3/5 shaded, 3 out of 5 shaded. More or less than 1 whole. What do you think?
Less.
You think less? It's going to be close, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to help you get this set up, and we're going to see if you can finish it. And I'll pause it while you finish it. Okay, so the common denominator for 3 and 5, Julian, what is it? Very good. Okay, think you can finish? So how about table 2? What am I multiplying 2/3 by?
5.
Oh, I forgot to change it. There we go. And table 4, what am I multiplying 3/5 by?
3.
Okay. 2 times 5 equals, and 3 times 3, 9. And so that gives me 19/15. So if I take out 1 whole, what's 19 minus 15?
4.
So my answer is 1 and 4/15. How we doing? Okay, I think there's one more, isn't there?
I just wrote it.
Okay.
Number bond, I just wrote it.
Okay, and you don't have to do the number bond. I'm just giving you a visual. So finally, I have enough room to write. So I'm going to get this set up, and then you're going to finish it. Table 5, what's my common denominator? How'd you get that?
8 times 3.
So let's take a look at this one, okay? Whose turn is it? Table 3? Okay, what did you multiply 3/8 times? Look at the 8. What's the opposite denominator? So you're going to multiply it times 3. And table 3, do this one. Look at this denominator. What are you multiplying it by?
8.
Good. So I've got 3 times 3 and 2 times 8. And did that end up be 25?
Yes.
So 25 24ths. Gosh, I almost don't need to do this. What do you think?
Yeah, it's really easy.
It's pretty easy. So that gives me 1
And then 1.
and 1/24.
Well, I saw the common denominator and it was 25. I'm like, there's no way something can pass that.
And it did.
And it's 25. Like,
Yeah, so that's barely over 1 whole though, isn't it? Yeah, barely over.
It's less than that big.
Okay, so I feel like you can do problem set and exit ticket tomorrow on this, don't you think?
Yeah.
And it went pretty quick. Okay, I want you, listen, turn your paper over. You can use it for scratch paper for IXL. Good job today.